today, another social media ban. Today, Stefan Molyneux, world famous, banned from the Twitter. Was just banned from YouTube a couple days ago. But the tech companies will tell you this isn't coordinated. It's just like coincidental, right? So two things. One, we can talk about the ban. We can talk about the ban in a minute, but I love how the tech companies all say we don't coordinate bans. It's just a coincidence that Molyneux is banned from YouTube, and then like few days later is banned from Twitter. But they don't talk because you don't talk to your friends and other companies, right? You don't talk. Apparently, if you work at Twitter, you don't have friends at YouTube or Google. You don't talk. But his ban, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. You know, uh, we knew he was in the barrel, as they say. Um, so surprised he lasted as long as he did for sure. Um, some idiot, correlation is not causation. Why do you think that's a smart thing? So people are always like, what's next? Are you next? What will I do? Blah, 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 blah. I've been next for like a couple of years. And the answer is, what will I do? Read books, write long form articles, do another movie. I had a pretty rich life before social media. And social media, in a way, most of my day is getting abused by Trump supporters. It's like starting over is quite appealing to me, and not just have loser MAGA cult people scream at me all day. It's not a gratifying thing to have people who are like they're in a cult just all day. You're a traitor, fake patriot, shill, ebook merchant, Jew, this, like all day, right? That's most of what it is. So it isn't like, oh no, I won't have to deal with these really nasty people all day. So what will I do? I mean, I'm in production on another film, Epstein. That'll get distribution. That's the thing. Will Chamberlain knows where I was before I was doing Trump stuff, right? There's just all these people who are in a cult that think I never existed except for Trump, and nobody would ever know my name except for Trump. And it's like, no. In fact, I was quite prominent well before the Trump days, and I certainly added more value to the Trump world's life than they added to mine, right? So what will I do? Just move forward. I'll do another film. Do another book. I'll probably start filing lawsuits. I've been taking a lot of CLEs, continuing legal education, as it's called. So I will be suing, cities, and there's a lot of good lawsuits to bring and other things. Just like this couple in Martinez, California, has been charged by the Contra Costa District Attorney because they peacefully painted over a mural for Black Lives Matter. They're being charged with a hate crime. The vandalism charge, you could probably get them on that in other circumstances, but it's like a hate crime to paint over a mural devoted to a Marxist organization. Not really. It's malicious prosecution, as Will said. So there's all these legal cases coming up. And you know what the biggest shortage is for people right now? What was the biggest shortage in 2015, 2016? It was right-leaning people who could just go hard on the plate on social media. And now everyone is doing what I do, right? When AOC talks, she has to wonder if like the Daily Caller team or the current events team or Ian Miles Chong or Ryan Saavedra or the Daily Wire people are going to cut that stuff up. The media matters. The transition from the right, which is we don't do media matter style research, and I said, well, I'll do it. Everybody's doing what I was doing in 15, 16, right? There's no like my legacy is achievement medically, and it's like the next frontier, just the neest frontier. And what does that look like? I don't know. The answer why Molyneux was banned just right after YouTube banned him. He says a lot of things. Molyneux is one of those people where he's just an earnest guy, friendly, polite, civil. And then people will text me his tweets, and I'm just like, bro, phraseology here, right? Because if my friends are texting me, I'm always like, if my friends who read my Twitter all day are texting me about your tweets, just phraseology, just phrase things differently, because he doesn't have a mean bone in his body, right? If you actually know the man, he's kind-hearted, he's involved father, tries to do a lot of parenthood stuff, and you're just like, come on, dude, focus on the family stuff. Focus on, well, his YouTube videos, his YouTube channel being banned is, I think, a little bit more outrageous or unexpected, because if you watch his long form comedy, you're like, okay, they're taking out kind of a point of view. But in Twitter in 2020, you can be caricatured, So yeah, Molyneux's thoughtful guy. I'm doing the opposite of throwing shade. I'm doing the opposite of throwing shade. I'm just saying, if you're a target, it's like you gotta realize that you're a target, and you gotta realize, is this the tweet? This is how you have to think if you're me, right, or anybody in the barrel. Am I willing? Is this the tweet that I'm gonna die on? Right? But the left doesn't have to. The left can say what I've heard all these things 1,000 times from everybody. Well, the left, they can say that they want to kill all white people and do their hashtags and say that, the Washington Post editor can talk about basically racially motivated violence against white women, and nobody's going to call that misogynistic hate crime, right? So you can be at the Washington Post and have a prestigious job, and you can tweet about racially motivated violence against women, and you're cool. But guess what? Guess what? You can't do that. Guess what? If you're perceived as conservative, perceived as right wing, guess what? You can't do that. But it's not fair. It's a double. We all know this. We all know this by now, and nobody cares. Tell it to your therapist. So what you have to do is, and by the way, that's not directed at Stefan. That's just generally speaking. I'm just saying this is how my approach. So my approach is, if I tweet this, will I get banned? So yesterday, for example, the mayor of Atlanta coincidentally contracted coronavirus. And I suggested that one should be a little bit skeptical when someone who just oversaw a major crime spree, including an 8-year-old girl being murdered, and then she's like, oh, I have coronavirus, but I'm asymptomatic. If I can't say I find this suspicious, oh, so you're not sick, you're not coughing up a point, you're not, you're not showing any signs that you're asymptomatic. Oh, and coincidentally, you're going to create a news cycle. If I can't say that, then chop my head off. You know what I mean? If I say that, then I'm willing to lose my head over that tweet. But there are a lot of things that I would like to say that I don't say, because I'm not willing to lose my head over that tweet. That's what you have to do. Sorry. Is it fair? Facts don't care about your feelings. Fairness doesn't care about your feelings either. Might not feel fair, but that's life. So you have to think, is this the one that's going to get my head chopped off? So if I can't say that the Atlanta mayor, the timing of her asymptomatic coronavirus diagnosis is a little bit convenient, I will lose my head over that tweet. Oh, he's falsely accusing Cernovich, claim without evidence that one should be skeptical, or how do they spin it up? I'll lose my head over that, because if I can't call out a powerful public official, I don't want to be in the game, right? But, there are people that insult me, and I'd like to insult them back, and guess what? I can't. There are groups of people who say very nasty things about me. I can't do it because I call it harassment. There are reporters who lie about me on Twitter, and I can't clap back, because if I clap back, Mike Cernovich is organizing a harassment campaign against a reporter. Chop your head. So this is just how you have to live. Now, is it fair? Whatever. It's not fair that blacks lived under Jim Crow. A lot of things aren't fair. The world has never been fair. It's not fair that you could be drafted to fight in the Vietnam War. You want to talk about unfairness? Talk about the draft, right? You want to talk about unfairness? Talk about, imagine you graduated high school and you were forced to go to Vietnam and shoot at people that you never even heard of, and they were going to shoot at you and try to kill you too, all because some people who went to Harvard and Yale thought that that was the right choice, right? That's not fair. Having to mind your P's and Q's and, be a little bit more respectful, just whatever. Everything's about context. So I just don't have a lot of time for it. People don't have time to hear about it. One of the things makes you look kind of weak, complaining about unfairness all the time, right? That's what people have to realize. Nobody's like, oh, that's too bad. It's so unfair. Just makes you look weak. And what happens, what happens will happen. But it's just not. So what do you have to do? You just know, am I willing to lose my head over this thing? Now, does it mean you have to work harder? Sure. Black people had to work hard when they overtly discriminated against. There's so many like other things going on here. And I just love how conservatives are like, well, there's no discrimination against minorities in America. Oh, but I'm being discriminated against. Oh, but you're claiming people can't easily see that you're being discriminated against. Sound familiar? Is there structural bias against conservatives? Well, hell yeah, there is. Is there structural bias against blacks in America on some issues? What? Oh, God, no. I can't believe you would suggest that, right? It's like, I don't know. Maybe there isn't. Maybe there isn't, but maybe there is, right? Because we know that if you're seen as conservative, you just have to play by different rules. You just know it. You live it. You know that, God, if I said something like that, I'm banned in a second. But Karen Attila at the Washington Post can talk about racially motivated violence against white women, and we know nothing's going to happen. We know she's not going to get fired. We know she's not even going to get a mean article written about her, right? We know she's not going to be banned from social media, right? So if you're on the left and you incite racially motivated violence against white women, we just know you're fine. You're cool. Nothing's going to happen to you. But if you're a conservative and you call somebody a cuck, that might be the one that gets your head off, right? If you use the F word, that might be harassment. So, maybe the other people, who talk about some of these policing issues, maybe there's something to it. Maybe not, but maybe you have a conversation. In the meantime, you go to rockfin.com/Cernovich, ROKFIN.com/CERNOVICH. Just put your email in there and sign up for it for free. If you like me, pay $9.99 a month for the thing, because we have more videos that we're going to post. A lot of things that we're going to do. Epstein, we're actually going to post at Rockfin first. So yeah, you go to rockfin.com/Cernovich. You can sign up for free, or you can endorse and subscribe. And that's that, dude. Molyneux, I'm sure, is at Parler. Am I going to go on Parler? I'm pro Parler. I'm not going to go on Parler. I'm not going to go on Telegram. I'm not. I'm just not, right? I have no. Yeah, it's getting warm in here. Whew, I probably should take off my hoodie, but I like to keep warm. It's good for the joints. So I'm just not going to go to some other platform and do like Twitter kind of stuff there, because I mastered the Twitter art form. This is what people never understand. Is I view how I live as art. I view what I do as art. See, we have guys here, whatever you say, brother, you're not going to vote for Biden. Shut up. Go away. You're the people that make me dread social media. Fuck you, dude. Just shut up about Trump and Biden, you fucking idiots, right? That's why people are like, what are you going to do when you get banned? I won't have to read 1,000 times a day. Oh, so you're going to vote for Biden? Oh, you're going to vote for Biden? Let the country be completely destroyed? Oh my God, so I won't have to read that 1,000 fucking times a day? Oh my God, how will I ever survive? Not having to just have 1,000 morons a day. Oh, so Biden? Oh, you're going to vote. Fuck you. I don't care. I don't care who wins the election. Go clip that and write a little shitty, Reddit board post on it. I don't give a fuck who wins in November. Clip that video. Post it on your little Donald Reddit boards or wherever. I don't give a fuck. Just accept it. And if that bothers you so much, just unfollow me, right? Just don't read me. I don't give a fuck. Don't tell me I should care. That's the whole point. I don't give a fuck. If it bothers you, go away. Are we clear? Don't ask me why I don't care. Don't tell me I should care. Don't tell me you're upset that I don't care. If you have a problem with that, do not tell me that I should care. Don't. Just move on. Go somewhere else. What's up, Carpe? Donked him. He's also a member of the graveyard. He and Molyneux. I mean, they got everybody. They went after Alex Jones as a test case. Have I been drinking tonight? No, I wish. I wish. Just Zevia. And yes, so Carpe's among them. They got them on DMC. So they're kind of just taking people. Thought we were talking about Molyneux. You're blocked, right? It's like you just can't join a conversation and not make it about you. Talk about what I want you to talk about. Talk about what I want you to talk about. Yeah, so Molyneux gone, Carpe Dunctum gone. They got Alex Jones gone. See, I have to block people. Literally, think about my life. You should care. I just told people I don't care who wins. I don't want to hear about you that I should care. And they just can't. They just can't move on. It really is. I hope you're not a person. I hope that you're bots hired by some devious troll to get me to quit social media. Because I will never quit social media because of left-wing attack, because that's weak, right? I will never in my life quit because the left is attacking me, because that's surrender and that's weak. But when I read comments that are just from fucking morons, I'm like, wow. So I have a bunch of just fucking morons read me. Just a bunch of fucking idiots. Jesus, have I failed at life to just have a bunch of fucking idiots reading me all day? So if you're like a devious troll, that would be like the psyop. Is not, don't attack me, because then that goes into my confrontational nature of just not being a bitch and not backing down. But the nonstop Trump worship is just, that's what wears me thin. The attacks are fun. It's just, oh my God, you people are obsessed. And the answer, do you think the elite really care who wins, Trump or Biden? How many people at Raytheon lost a paycheck because of Trump or Biden? That's the whole idea. They let you fight these little small tier bullshit little fight. They don't give a fuck, right? You people lose friendships, drive people insane, destroy your families, can't have Thanksgiving without a fight. The elite don't give a fuck. They're laughing at all of you. The elite do not give a fuck. Trump hired the elite. How many has Carpe Donkta been hired by a pro-Trump super PAC? And you people are so fucking dumb that when I ask questions like that, you go, well, if Carpe was paid to make memes, it wouldn't be authentic. So you work for free, right? So these pro-Trump super PACs, go read their financials. 80 million, 100 million, 150 million. And those people aren't pro-Trump. Katie Walsh, big salary, made millions of dollars. She leaked on Trump at the White House. That's who's one of those pro-Trump super PACs. The people who hate Trump, hate MAGA, those are the people running the pro-Trump super PACs. Who is managing Tommy Tuberville's campaign in Alabama? People who hate Trump and hate his supporters, right? But Trump told you don't vote for Jeff, so you're going to support Tommy, even though Tommy supports open borders and his staff hates you. And I found the tweets, he hates you. It's not debatable. And meanwhile, all these people are just getting rich off of suckers. Number one rule of life, don't be a chump, right? Number one rule of life, my boy, Ralph's here, that's, New York, kind of, you take it for granted as a New Yorker, just don't be a chump, don't be a sucker. And people are like, oh, I love Trump, I love his people hate you and they're getting rich off of your backs. But you want to get mad at me for telling you and not saying, how come all these people who work for Trump don't have any pro-Trump social media posts until Trump won? Now they love him, right? Now they love him. So people get mad at me for saying that, and the elite are happy with you because they're just cashing checks, right? They're just cashing. Trump supported Mitt Romney. Trump could have backed. Mitt Romney had a credible primary challenger, right? Most of you don't know that. I got in a big argument with people until I showed them the math. Mitt Romney had a credible primary challenger at the convention in Utah. Trump could have thrown in with the other guy. We wouldn't have Mittens Romney. Trump threw in with Mittens Romney. That's just the way it is. So then people are like, I'm mad at Mitt. Why are you mad at Mitt? I'm 42. Do I ever ask you people to make excuses for me? Trump's 74. The whole idea, we do have an extended adolescence in the U.S. now, but The whole idea that you should make excuses for the bad judgment and poor choices adult men make, that's part of the infantilization of America. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't be like, we need traditional gender roles. We need men to be men. Oh, but Trump endorsed Mitt Romney instead of fighting against them. And then Mitt Romney won, and then Mitt Romney voted to a tweet, we're mad at Mitt Romney. Really? How about you start holding adult men accountable for their own choices? No, no, no. I'd rather be mad at Cernovich, yell at him, tell him he's a traitor, fake patriot, grifter, he's going to vote for Biden, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I mean, you're mad at me or you're mad at Romney. Why would you be mad at Romney for doing what we all knew Romney would do, right? That's what blows me away about this stuff. Imagine being mad at Mitt Romney for being Mitt Romney, right? Just think about that. Like, does that ever like go through your minds where if there's a feral raccoon outside with rabies and I go up to pet the raccoon and the raccoon bites my hand, I'm mad at the raccoon. Can't believe the raccoon with rabies bit my hand. Now I'm going to have to go get a rabies shot, right? So you're mad at Mitt Romney for being Mitt Romney, for being who he is. But who endorsed him? Who helped raise money for him? Who didn't back his primary challenger in Utah? Who didn't want to fight back? Now, Lindsey Graham's all against Trump. Now, let's be mad at Lindsey again. Trump went all in for Lindsey, right? So how are you going to be mad? And that's what I mean by about personal accountability. I have never, even when I was a complete, douchebag, I've never told anyone who reads me to make excuses for me. I've always told people the opposite. I've always told people, hey, look, if somebody goes, why do you follow Cernovich? He's a bad person. I've always said, throw me under the bus. Tell them, well, I didn't know Cernovich was a bad guy. Got to be more careful. Never in my life would I, as a man, tell people to make excuses for my poor choices and my poor judgment. Never. I say, throw me under the bus. Save your ass, right? You got your own life. I know I'm not a bad person, but the point is, if you have to choose between saving your ass and apologizing or making excuses for me, save your own ass, right? And that's the message that leadership should have, which is Trump makes a bad choice. Well, I'm going to be mad at the people who Trump put into power, right? I'm mad at Jared. Can't believe Jared. Oh, so Trump has to listen to Jared? I didn't know that. I didn't know Jared was implanted in Trump's brain and, control of his bodily movements and everything like that. So I don't even like the whole shit. My good friend Wayne's here. We love Wayne. I don't even like that shit of blaming Jared. Because Trump listened to Jared. Trump's a dull-ass man. That's like me saying, well, I was given bad advice. Now, if I hired a lawyer or an accountant and the accountant gave me wrong advice and there's a right or wrong answer, then yeah, you bet your ass I'm going to blame my lawyer or my accountant. That's a different kind of relationship. But if I ask you, hey, Kevin Posobiec, what should I do here? Then you give me advice, and then I do that. I don't get to say, well, look at this guy telling me all these bad things, You don't get to do that shit. That's why we're such a childish-ass society. The scapegoating stuff. Trump is responsible for Trump. His supporters should hold Trump accountable. But then people get mad at me for not playing these little proxy war scapegoat games. Like, this is what Trump said. Trump hid in a bunker. Well, he was told to. Trump's not talking about the riots. Well, he was told to hide. But he did it. Right? He did it. So all this is childish ass shit we're all tired of. Oh, and by the way, just to segue into social media stuffs. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get you, and that's fine. They're going to get me, and that's fine. But when I go out, I'm not going to act like some kind of martyr. Because I'm a little bit tired of that from everybody who gets banned. Everybody's a martyr. It's like, oh, so you're sharing Bible verses all day? spreading kumbaya all day, right? That's what you were doing. Just praying for people all day, telling people I love you. That's what you're doing. You're in the arena, man. You're in the arena and you're throwing punches, and the referees are rigged. The referees are rigged, and they're going to pull you out of the game. And you can get sucker punched by someone, and you punch back, and they're going to say he threw the first punch. Cernovich threw the first punch every time. Just the way it is. And does that mean that I support Molyneux's ban? The opposite. I don't think he should have been banned. Right? Should I be banned today for anything I've tweeted in 3 years? No. But that doesn't mean anything. We know that it's a rigged game. We know that we're playing a rigged game. So then the question a lot of us have to ask is, do we keep playing a rigged game? Especially because Twitter lost the magic anyway. Because of the bans, ironically. Like, you can't do anything fun on Twitter anymore. Right? You can't have any fun on Twitter. The left can. The left can have, they're calling Lindsey Graham Lady G, claiming he slept with a male prostitute. Could you imagine that shit? How is that any different than what I accused of doing? Could you imagine if we got it trending that a senator who was a Democrat was using escorts under but the left can do that. They can do whatever they want to do, and it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to cry about it anymore. It's not going to change, right? It's not going to change, and it's not going to improve. I wish Parler luck. I think Molyneux on Parler will be a draw, or he'll be a big draw. And they're growing, so I wish them success. And I think people on Twitter should be more judicious about, like, they should be on Parler more often and try to, do like 80-20, 80% of your time on Twitter, 20% new stuff on Parler. And, just try kind of get it hopping, because maybe something will happen. Maybe it won't. Locals, I'm working on set up an account. I just want smaller membership groups anyway. So why wouldn't I join any other social media? Because I've done what I set out to do and then some, right? It's like, I did my great art. I won. I did things I couldn't imagine possible. And I want to do that in another area, right? I wrote a best-selling book, Guerrilla Mindset, fact. Wrote a movie 2 weeks in a row, top 10 best-selling independent film. How many people in their lives can be like, I wrote a best-selling book. Oh, and I did a best-selling movie too. Right? So now we're just trying to think about, what do we want to do next? Whatever I want to do next, I want to do it, a big level. I want to do it as just like I had a big Twitter. I want to do like a big level game. And we'll see. Watch your back. You could be next. I've been next for years. I mean, we all know I'm next. I've been next for years. We all know. We all know that I'm next. There's no question that I'm next. Am I next tomorrow? But I'll tell you, here's the difference. Right? This is going to sound crazy, but I don't care. One of the benefits of being me is I'm allowed to sound crazy, and I just don't care. When I was on an ayahuasca journey, and if you've ever been on ayahuasca or experienced it or know anything about it, it feels more real than this moment right now. And when I was in the moment, deep, I saw my Twitter account deleted, and I go, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I'll go do something else now. I didn't feel any kind of attachment. I didn't feel any kind of anxiety or worry. I just was like, yeah, okay. And that was the test, because when you're in deep, when you're in deep, it feels real. There's no like, well, you imagined it. No. That's if you don't know. If you know and you're in deep, not only does it feel real, it feels more real than anything that you're ever going to deal with in real life, because it's like a focusing moment. And in that moment, I believed that to be real. And I was like, yeah, okay. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. I'll go do something else. So we'll see. Am I next? I mean, of course we are. Will it happen soon? I don't know. We'll see. What will I do? Something interesting. Stay updated. Rockfin.com, ROKFIN.com/CERNOVICH.com. Go to rockfin.com, ROKFIN.com/CERNOVICH.